Oops. Mic issues.
On today's show, are the Arizona Cardinals actually on upset watch? And as well as ASU fell in the AP coaches poll yesterday. Was it fair or was it not really warranted? Let's talk about that and much more next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
Welcome in. What is up? Welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Remember when I told you guys in the comment section, we're going to be a little late this morning, some technical difficulties? Well, there you go. You already saw it right away, but I fixed it. We're all good. Things will continue to roll here on the Ben Garcia Show. We got a lot of things to get into and not a lot of time to do so. So before we get started, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And thanks for sticking around when things sometimes go awry. I want to talk about immediately Chill Peasy's super chat here, which I will get back to in a little bit here. If the Cardinals win by 3 scores, I'm pressing the panic button. 38-13 Arizona on the road with an early game. Make us believe. We're going to talk about the Cardinals in just a second. The Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites on the road against the New Orleans Saints. However, before we get there, I want to save that towards the end of the show. So give me 12 minutes to talk about another Arizona football team, the Arizona State Sun Devils. So I came on here live from Carlsbad, California on my balcony right near the ocean front, which was really fun, really cool to do. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys don't want me ever recording when I'm on vacation again, I won't do that again. But if you enjoyed that, let me know. And I came on here and I talked about the Arizona State. I came over here and I talked about the Arizona State Sun Devils a couple of days after their first game. And when everyone else was hitting the panic button, I was hitting the just relax button. And Arizona State came out on top in a game where they nearly doubled them in yardage, and Sam Levitt looked really good, and Jordan Tyson looked really good, and Xavier Alford and Raleek Brown looked fine. And Kenny Dillingham, I thought, did the exact right thing. He came out and said, we got outcoached, we got outplayed. I believe that NAU win was actually one of the better case scenarios for the Arizona State Sun Devils. They're going into an SEC game where they haven't had a lot of success. They're going to go into Mississippi State and play a game against an SEC team. Like, do I need to say any more than that? They're going to have SEC talent. They're going to be able to compete with some of the big dogs, and they're going to be a team that upsets someone because that's what happens in the bottom of the barrel of the SEC. Because they're not bad teams. They're just not as good as the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Floridas. Here's why Saturday was best case scenario for the Arizona State Sun Devils. The worst thing that could have happened was obviously a loss. But for all the hand-wringing and all the upset and panic button pushing from media and Arizona State Sun Devils fans, and I love to push those things. That's what I do on this show, but I only do it if I need to do it. And so, with that being the case, immediately you're talking about ASU winning that game. But not the right kind, but not the worst kind of win. And bear with me on this. If Arizona State would have clobbered NAU and clobbered them by 40 points, and Raleek Brown had 200 rushing yards, and Sam Levitt had 300 passing yards and some rushing yards as well, and Jordan Tyson looked as dominant as he did on Saturday, you duplicate that in another game, ASU's feeling really good about themselves. And going into an SEC matchup against Mississippi State, I don't want them feeling great about themselves. I want them going in there ready to play their ass off and be a team that understands they're still overlooked. And I believe the best thing happened to ASU. The absolute best thing happened to them on Saturday. They won a game, but there were clear concerns, and everyone on the team can say to themselves, yep, we won, and we won handily, and NAU was never a team that had a chance to beat us, but we understand what we need to fix. And some of those things are offensive line issues. Some of those things are penalties. Some of those things are defensive pass rush. Listen, I'm not going to tout how great NAU is, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lie to you. However, NAU is a pretty good football program in the FCS. This isn't a Tarleton State or some just garbage organization. They're pretty good. Look at their record under Brian Wright. I looked it up. I think they've lost like 8 games under him total, and he's won a bunch. So they're a good program. I'm not saying they're an elite program. I'm not saying that they did anything more than give their best effort in a game in which they won't have that big of a game in the next half decade. I mentioned that as well. But ASU gets to go into Mississippi State not feeling great about themselves. Kenny Dillingham made it pretty clear they have some real initial things to work on. And I mentioned some of those. The penalties can't happen. The offensive line troubles can't happen. Especially against an SEC opponent, you're going to get absolutely ran through. You got to get pressure at minimum up the middle on these SEC teams and make quarterbacks feel some presence so that they can't step up in the pocket. So I know that NAU is a program that, yeah, maybe ASU could have looked a little better than, but these things happen too. You never watched that game thinking NAU had a chance to win that game. Not once. You never watched that game and thought to yourself, wow, NAU's got a shot here. You never thought that. Not once. And so, yeah, were there clear things to work on? Sure. But ASU, one, didn't deserve to drop in the coaches poll, but let's take it for what it is, a positive thing. Arizona State gets to go into a game against Mississippi State where they're doubted. And that was the best version of Arizona State last year. The absolute best version. When they walked into games and felt like they were disrespected. And even though they won, they fell in the coaches poll. Immediately, people are starting to doubt them. So not only did they win that game, but they won that game with some concerning fashion, knowing that they have to go into practice. Kenny Dillingham has all the tools in the world to be able to coach them up. And ultimately, it's exactly where ASU should be. It's a perfect place for them to be. Doubted, counted out, and immediately seen as a team that is going to lose or on upset watch against Mississippi State this week. But here's what's going to happen. Arizona State, because you either believe in the coaching of Kenny Dillingham or you don't, is going to reel in the penalties. They're going to reel in the offensive line troubles. Maybe have a running back chip on a tight end. Have a running back chip on a defensive end. Maybe bring a couple of more guys into protection. But the biggest thing is, on the road, what two things travel? Defense, which I thought ASU actually played pretty well defensively, outside of some concerns getting to the quarterback, but not major. So that is going to travel well. But what else travels well? Running the football. And in the minimum workload that we saw from our running backs, they looked pretty good. Raleek Brown, Kanye Udo, get those guys involved. Go into Mississippi State, gash the defense, get on the play action, find Jordan Tyson streaking downfield. I think the hand-wringing for ASU winning a game by damn near double the points that NAU had is absolutely nuts, especially in the first game of the season where NAU has not played a game that big in the last half decade. Because they got to go down to a team that just went to the college football playoff and wanted to spoil that. And so at the end of the day, it's nonsense, guys. It's complete and utter nonsense. ASU looked fine. Can I get, and especially in a week 1 game, they don't have the preseason in the NFL. In college football. So can I watch ASU against an SEC opponent before I make a major grand declaration on this season? If they come in and get bounced or lose in that game against Mississippi State, yeah, you think I'm going to come on here and be sugarcoat rainbows and unicorns? Yeah, I don't think so. That's not why you guys come to this channel. So for now, ASU's perfectly fine. And if they dominate on Saturday, everyone in the chat's going to have to owe me an apology because I've been the one all week not pushing the panic button because NAU scored 13 points in a game as well where, or 18 points in a game as well where they shouldn't have scored that many, but they were calling timeouts to try to score on ASU second stringers. Like, let's reel it in. I know we all have low sports self-esteem, but let's reel it in with the ASU Sun Devils. Okay. So ASU is going to be fine, and they're going to win this weekend. Again, just so we're clear, they're going to win. We can get deeper into that on Friday, but let's get to some Arizona Cardinals talk. I do think, I put this out yesterday, and I want to grab the actual tweet because people did not take too kindly to it. In fact, a bunch of them told me to bet, but I told them that poor people shouldn't be betting, and I definitely fall into that category of people that don't have the money or the assets to be betting just money willy-nilly on random sports betting games. But I said this yesterday. The Cardinals are a 6.5-point favorite on the road in an early morning East Coast game against a New Orleans Saints team that doesn't know how bad they are quite yet. Sketchy spot for Arizona. I'd take the Saints to cover. Just so we're being clear, I do think the Cardinals win this game. I think they come in, they beat the New Orleans Saints, but I do think it's close. When you start a season, and I'm speaking from a Saints perspective, when you start the season 0-0, no wins, no losses, anyone, fan, coaches, players, can convince themselves the sky is the limit. And it's not like the Saints are some garbage organization. They have a Super Bowl under their belt. They had one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Drew Brees. They've had actual success in the National Football League. And so when you combine all that with Spencer Rattler's last stand, either he is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL or he's not going to be. And that's a scary place to be for Spencer Rattler. So what is he going to do, at least initially? Come out guns a-blazing. Try to play the best game of his life. Understand that it's either now or never. And Tyler Shuck is right over his shoulder, ready to take the starting job at any chance possible. I'm not trying to scare you. I think the Cardinals win this game. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than some of you in the chat actually think. And that's where I want to go back to my guy, Ivan Super Chat. And I wish I could throw this on the big board, but not the case here at the Ben Garcia Show Productions. I stand by it. If the Cardinals don't win by 3 scores, I'm pressing the panic button, 38-13. Arizona on the road with an early game. Make us believe. That was $4.99 from Chill Peasy. Appreciate you, Ivan. In week 1, I don't really care how the Cardinals win. I just care that they come out with a win. Do I want them to come out and completely stomp the New Orleans Saints? Have 3 interceptions, 1 pick six, multiple touchdowns, and Kyler Murray only throws for 150 yards because the running game is so good and they're up by so many points that they didn't need to throw the ball, and I'm still questioning if Kyler Murray can make the throw next week. That's a great place to be. I would love to be able to sit here questioning if Kyler Murray can still make the throw next week going in against the Panthers. Because that means that they were dominant and Kyler didn't have to throw the ball. Great. Sure. Awesome. However, the Saints are coming in with a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, who got that Eagles offense to look pretty freaking good. Now, there's Saquon Barkley there, and it's an elite offensive line. You could argue he didn't have to do a ton, which is totally fair. However, he still won a Super Bowl. He is a Super Bowl winning head coach. He's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. And so you can't just turn your nose at that. How many quarterback revolutions have we seen? We just saw one last year. Are you telling me it's absolutely impossible that Spencer Rattler could have some sort of resurgence this year? This dude was the number 1 quarterback in ESPN's top 300 years ago. He started over Caleb Williams and then lost his job, but started over Caleb Williams at Oklahoma. And then he went to South Carolina, looked a little bit better. And then, yeah, last year wasn't great, but the talent is there. I don't like the kid. I think he's a conceited a-hole, but the talent is there. And so if Kellen Moore picks him over Tyler Shuck, it tells me he sees at least something. So I almost have to do the reverse thing for the Arizona State stuff I just talked about 2 seconds ago. When the Cardinals win this game on Sunday, God, if they lose this game, could you imagine what we're talking about? That's a terrible place to start 0-1. That's why I don't really care how they win. I just care that they win. However, you combine the fact with Kellen Moore, Alvin Kamara is still there. It's going to be a serviceable defense. Cam Jordan is still there. If I'm not mistaken, Demario Davis is still there. Like, they have dudes on that team. So if they come into that game and make things uncomfortable, it wouldn't shock me. And it's almost the inverse with ASU and NAU, the rant I just did 2 seconds ago. I expect the game to be close. And if the Cardinals win by a score, 3 points, what do I care? The optics then matter. How did Kyler look? Was he throwing the ball away? How did Marv look? How did James Conner look? All that is great. I'm not saying the Saints are going to be a good team this year. In fact, I think they're going to be pretty putrid. But in week 1, you don't know how bad you are. And when a bunch of grown men see a 0 wins, 0 loss record, they think the sky's the limit. If we just try really, really, really hard, maybe we can scrape and fight and claw our way to the playoffs. That's not the case. And by week 3, week 4, they're going to understand that they suck. But right now, they don't know that. And nothing is more dangerous than a team that doesn't know that they suck. Because they come in with their hair on fire. A lot of them try to play their best games of the year. And Arizona has to withstand that. And they will. Like, I'm not in here saying that the Cardinals are going to lose. That's nonsense. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. However, you have to live with the fact that week 1 is just weird. And the Cardinals being a 6.5 point favorite, like, let me just tell you this. Let's take the Cardinals out of it, right? A team who, if you've been a fan of this team, you know that they're not great going east in an early morning window. But let's just say it like this. A West Coast team going east with a quarterback that is unproven, who didn't make the playoffs last year, who is going to the East Coast in an early morning window in week 1, where a team going west is favored by 6 points. If I just told you all of that and I didn't tell you the names and the players on the jerseys, you would listen to my argument. You'd say, well, I guess that does make sense. Neither team, the quarterback's unproven. We'll see. There's keys to this game, and we'll get to those. But don't hold the Cardinals to this standard of 38-13, because I think you're going to be wildly mistaken. Now, if they come on here and they smack around the New Orleans Saints, hell yeah, I'm going to come out here and say I'm wrong and be like, damn, Jonathan Gannon got this team ready to play on an East Coast game. Dang, Kyler looked good. The running game looks good. What was I worried about the offensive line for? The Cardinals are going to win this game. I'm not even going to fathom the idea of them losing this game. But in week 3, week 4, when they play poor opponents, I will totally listen to, they're going to win by 2 scores. But, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are only 8.5 point favorites against the Dallas Cowboys. I think we'd all agree the Cowboys are at least better than the Saints, and the Eagles are 100 times better than the Cardinals. Or I guess I should say, sorry, they messed that up. The Cowboys and the Saints are close in comparison, and the Eagles are way better than the Cardinals right now. So my point is, it's a lot of points, especially on the road, and the Eagles are at home. That would be the same point spread if the Eagles went to the Dallas Cowboys. If I'm doing my math correctly, they'd be 6 point favorites. Right now, they're 9 point favorites. You're telling me the Cardinals should be favored more than what the Eagles would be if they went on the road against the Cowboys this week. It's a little much, is all I'm saying. And so I appreciate you. You guys are listening too much to me. Hold your team to a higher standard. I know Aaron tagged me in a tweet of that. I appreciate you guys holding your team to a higher standard. But that's too high. Just come out and win this week. If they come out and dominate, then yeah, we'll sing the praises. But give it time. Really quickly, how you beat this team is pretty simple. Now I'm going to talk at both ends of my mouth. Do I think Spencer Rattler could have some sort of resurgence and be this is a bad comp, but I mean just in terms of skill level and winning games, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he bounces around the league and is a serviceable starting quarterback? I could see that. I think he's terrible. Like, I don't think he's very good. And I would say I think Ryan Fitzpatrick wasn't very good, but in terms of NFL circles, he's average. I could see a world where Spencer Rattler could become an average quarterback. And Kellen Moore, for all his misgivings in Dallas, he looked pretty good in Philadelphia. And so if this team, with Spencer Rattler at the helm, like those guys could be, could he make him an average quarterback? Sure. But what the Cardinals need to do is, because we know how good Spencer Rattler is, which is not great, is pressure the quarterback. Put 7 in the box, 6 in the box, and make Spencer Rattler beat you with his arm. And if he can do that, then we'll change the game plan accordingly. But until Spencer Rattler can prove he can beat you with his arm, don't stop coming after him. Send blitzes, send different packages at him, stack the box, make their wide receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and company, beat you. And if those guys beat you in man coverage, we'll swap up some things. But make Spencer Rattler feel uncomfortable. Make him feel pressure. Make him feel like he has to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And that's just a quick thing immediately. I know I talked about Spencer Rattler. Maybe he has some sort of resurgence in him. I don't necessarily believe that. But make this guy feel pressure. He will throw a pick or two your way. And if the Cardinals, I think it's as simple as this. If the Cardinals win the turnover battle, they're winning this game. And I think Kyler, for all his misgivings post-bye week throwing the ball away to the other team, I think Kyler is much more a protector of the football than Spencer Rattler will be. So go after him, make him a pocket passer, and make him turn the ball over. And if you can do that, then you're going to win this game. And you could dominate this game. But it all comes down to make Spencer Rattler a pocket passer, throw guys open, and speed the mental clock up in his brain in the pocket. It's as simple as that. And with the pressure that I think you can get up the middle, with guys like Josh Sweat and Baron Browning off the edge, I don't think it should be that difficult to do. But do not let this team run on you. Stuff the run, whoever it is, Kendre Miller, Alvin Kamara, stuff the run and make Spencer Rattler beat you with his arm. It truly is just that simple. All right, guys. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream. Appreciate all you guys being here on this edition of the Ben Garcia Show. I will be back here Friday. I'm working on getting a Saints beat reporter to come on the show and preview this game for Saturday's special. But also, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. A little later today, but 7 a.m. We're here talking all things Arizona sports. A lot of football coming in on the show, especially right now. It's going to dominate. So appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. For Aaron, Chill Peasy, Michael, all my guys in here talking some Arizona Cardinals football with me and along with all things Arizona sports. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll talk some more Cardinals on Friday, and I hope I can get a Saints beat reporter on the show to be able to preview this game with you. So until Friday at 7 a.m., I'm Benjamin Garcia, and it's been the Ben Garcia Show.